I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Welcome to Oops the Podcast. I'm Francis. He's Giulio. We're here with Chris as usual. My God, I'm ready to go. What a day. What a fun episode this is going to be.
Here we go, baby.
Is everyone feeling good?
Podcast life.
You know, let me tell you something, Giulio. I got a guy that reached out to me, and he tells me that he stays up to listen to the episodes when they drop at midnight.
Oh, really?
On Mondays and Wednesdays.
I dig that,
Now,
dude.
forgive me, friend out there, for not remembering your name, but ye who burneth the midnight candle, we thank you.
We thank thee.
I hope you can sleep better later in life as life goes on, but for now, boy, that's dedication. For those of you who don't know, we drop the episodes at midnight, I guess in the middle of the night, going into Tuesday morning and going into Thursday morning. So those of you who wake up early on Tuesday and Thursday, have it like a steaming hot plate of eggs.
Dude, the midnight candle thing, that just seems like the beginning of so many movies.
It does.
You're like, oh, is this Paul? It's Paul Revere, isn't it?
Paul Revere is exactly who comes to mind when I hear the midnight candle. Exactly who comes to mind. I was immediately thinking, there's a guy, and, you know, he's got to get on his horse to tell Boston.
He's got to tell him what's up.
Heads up, everybody.
The British are coming.
They're on their way. Good stuff, buddy. How are you, Giulio?
I'm good, dude. I'm good, you know? Fucking just, I don't know, dude. Just living, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing crazy. I see that you have arranged a pretty intricate setup upstairs.
So I've taken a shine to smoking meats.
So I remember when I like first started hanging out with you, you had begun learning this kind of shit.
I was so terrified of it, though.
It's intimidating.
I had this incredible contraption, the big green egg. My mom gave it to me for my birthday a couple of years ago. It was a big present. It was the only present. I'm at that stage in life now where from my parents, instead of getting some sort of panoply of gifts, I get one big thing that I want. And usually I don't even get that because I don't ask for anything anymore. We've talked about birthdays a lot. But this particular year, I had just moved into a new place. I had a garden in my apartment.
Sick.
Our old place. You remember?
Yeah.
You guys used to come there all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, you remember that? Got him. I caught him slipping. Caught Chris slipping. He was looking at his phone, probably looking at checks.
Doing stuff for the podcast, all right, brother?
Well, you're so slim and trim and handsome now.
Oh my god.
That he's probably on those dating apps.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, denying all the women that want to take him out for a casserole.
I don't know
Chris
about
got
that.
too cute to produce.
All right. I'm
By the
doing
way,
stuff for the podcast.
I realize
all
I
right?
just said take him out for a casserole. I feel like that's the one dish
You do not get taken
you
out
would
for.
never go out to a restaurant
that's
and
all right.
order. You can't order Yes, I'll have the casserole.
Yeah.
How's the house casserole?
What the fuck is a casserole?
It's a plate. I know what it is. I'll tell you what it is.
If you show me a casserole, I'll say that's a casserole.
It's-
But what constitutes a casserole?
It is a dish that Italian people cook for each other when one of their friends passes away.
Dude, that's not true.
It's in The Sopranos when one of the husbands or wives dies.
Somebody brings
They
a casserole.
bring over a casserole and put it in the freezer.
Okay, so I don't think that it's exclusively for death.
That is the symbol of it. It is
Casserole-
an Italian dish meant for grieving people who have no energy to cook something from scratch.
We would talk about casserole when I was a kid. I don't know if it's Italian or not.
Sure is.
First time I'm hearing that.
No, I'm just making that up. I know that's not what it is.
All right, I picture it being one of those glass
That's
tray
it, covered in.
that's like 3 inches deep.
What's it covered in?
Tinfoil.
Bingo! Tinfoil. Sorry, Chris.
Or saran wrap sometimes.
It's tinfoil. It's covered in tinfoil. That's how you know it's a
and
freezer dish.
you can see through it, I think.
Sorry, Chris. I got
But
excited.
what the fuck is a casserole? Chris, can we get some? So I think it is just the dish. All right, Chris.
Right.
So it seems very vague. It's just like a type of dish. I'll read
Okay.
it. It says a casserole is a variety of a large deep pan or bowl used for cooking in a variety of dishes in the oven. It is also a category of foods cooked in such a utensil. To distinguish the two uses, the pan can be called a casserole dish or a casserole pan, whereas the food is simply a casserole. That didn't really
Interesting.
answer.
Because
it.
the casserole.
But that's interesting, Chris.
It makes sense.
What they're saying there is that the word can refer to both the food itself and the vessel in which it comes.
Right, but that doesn't mean that if you say it's a casserole, that it's a specific type of food necessarily. It's just food prepared in that dish.
I think you're right. Because you're right. Because if you made
Tuna
what you would
casserole.
make in a casserole dish, but you put it in, let's say, a salad bowl, I don't think that is a casserole anymore.
Right.
Whereas if you handed me a casserole dish, I would say, boy, I can't wait to make a casserole in this. Am I wrong?
No, you wouldn't say a casserole in this. You would say a casserole.
Quick pause on this casserole topic. A dear friend of mine just entered the podcast studio. It's Abba, ladies and gentlemen. He's here. We've talked about Abba on the podcast before. Abba and Giulio have become friends. They've bonded through their tennis history.
We have.
Abba's one of my closest friends, and he just wanted to come and check out the pod and listen and watch as we make the sausage. So,
we actually, this can become a thing. It can be called like the ABBA treatment.
the jump seat.
If somebody becomes fortunate enough to be able to actually come and witness the pod being filmed.
we could auction off the jump seat
Yes.
of the podcast.
The ABBA award
Yeah, that's it.
to our like best fan or whatever.
To our fans who have listened to every episode, but who have not exemplified sort of unstable characteristics, which would make us a little bit wary of inviting them into my home. Not that there are many of you. There are very few of you. In fact, if you're still listening to the podcast, you're probably not in that category because we've probably blocked those people. Anyway, onward. Back to the smoking. I want to tell you about smoking. Smoking meats.
Oh, you like smoking weed? You ever try smoking meat?
Well, I got something to tell you, but let's start with the weed.
Okay.
I am 6 days off the weed.
Interesting. Are you having fucked up dreams?
I don't even know if I'm having fucked up dreams. I'm having a hard time sleeping.
They say that happens.
Yeah, but dude, that I expected because the entire reason I started relying on weed was to help me sleep.
Right.
I took to weed at night because I couldn't sleep.
Right.
And it fixed that. And now I have removed it again, and we're right back to me being the lightest, most, restless sleeper in the world.
Interesting. That makes sense, man. That's the problem with using drugs to solve problems.
Sure.
Is that it's very easy to get carried away with the amount you use and this and that, and it's a hard thing to kind of maintain at a healthy level.
Yeah. This is the longest period of time that I have now gone without touching marijuana in, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
6 days. Which isn't to say that I was a daily user. I did use it most days, but there have been plenty of weeks over the past year where I've taken 2 days off, 2 or 3 days, but they wouldn't necessarily be strung together.
You're right.
I have made the decision that I need to take a full month of not touching the pots and pans.
So you're going to do it for a month.
Yeah.
Cool. Good luck, man.
Well, you took a long time off from drinking.
Mm-hmm.
How long did you go?
I went for like 2 or 3 months.
That's
and to be
insane.
honest, dude, it really kickstarted me. Like I was really unhappy with the way that I looked when I decided to do that. I like weighed the most I'd ever weighed in my life. And it was really fucking depressing. So like by doing that, it like helped me just get back to where I was before the pandemic.
That's amazing.
So
it was a good exercise.
Ultimately a good exercise. But I had it in my mind that I was going to like do it for a while, for like much longer. And then I took acid and realized, we've talked about this, and realized that casual alcoholism is really important to me. And that I wasn't willing to sacrifice it. So like
it's an amazing way to come back to it,
dude.
And probably unlikely, that's not usual. I don't think that's how most people decide to pop the bottle again.
Right.
They just go to one of the hardest drugs you can find, and then that tells them, through some kaleidoscope speaking parrot that
Literally, kaleidoscope.
you love booze. Allow yourself.
Dude, as
My
Ricky
God,
said,
parrot.
as Ricky said, you took acid to find something and you found tequila.
Yeah.
Very accurate. Dude,
Yeah.
now I just fucking love White Claws. Self-proclaimed Lord Farclaw.
Lord Farclaw over here. He
Lord
said that to me. He
Farclaw.
texted me that. I go, that's it
That's a good
immediately.
one. But dude, the kaleidoscope is actually a really good image for acid is that drug that is exactly how your weird uncle told you it was going to be. He's like, and every trippy cartoon, like that is what acid is, except you don't need the cartoon. You just look at a colorful thing and it moves in that way. So the kaleidoscope is actually a perfect.
Yeah.
reference.
I'm not that curious.
I think you'd enjoy it. It is intimidating, but it is much more mild than mushrooms, in my opinion.
Friends who know me a long time have told me they do not think I would enjoy it because one of my sources of anxiety is when I'm in a situation I can't escape.
Right.
Whether it's I'm committed to an event that is going to last the whole day, or if let me give you an example. Do you know about the hunt?
No.
The horse race
No.
in Short Hills, New Jersey?
No.
The hunt. Okay, well, imagine the Kentucky Derby or two or something like that, right?
Sure.
Well, but this one's a little different because the hunt is this, or it was, I don't even know if it's going on anymore. It was this day of horse racing where you take the train out to Short Hills, New Jersey, Far Hills. I don't know.
I think
what
it is Short Hills.
Short Hills, yeah. And it's maybe an hour and a half out into New Jersey, and it's in a nice part of New Jersey. It's fancy, and you
There's
go
a nice
to this
mall there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to this huge field, and there are, you go to the middle of it, and then there's this crazy infield where everybody has set up tailgates through the back of their pickup trucks or whatever it is. They fill the back of the pickup truck with ice and beers, and everyone's getting tuned up, and it's in the middle of the fall. So, all the women are wearing like knee-high boots, khaki pants, quilted vests, maybe those hats with feather in them. And then the guys are wearing barber coats, khaki pants. The men are also wearing whatever. So it's super preppy. It's a day where people lean into the prep.
Yeah.
And I went 1 year and everyone was having the time of their lives. And I have about a 3 to 4 hour runway where I'm having fun. And then all of a sudden I realize I'm so far from home. And I'm so far from a bed. And I'm so far from...
But why would you want to be near a bed? Isn't it the middle of the day?
By this point, it's probably 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
And you've just been drinking all day.
Yeah, there's something about knowing that I still have to get home and it's going to take me 2 hours.
Right.
That I need to preserve whatever ounce of energy I have. I cannot allow myself to run into a wall and then blindly hope that it works out and I get home somehow.
So, dude, I think that you might be surprised how acid would maybe change that for you.
My parallel with acid is that acid is like a 14-hour high.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised at how much you might not mind it
But
while you're doing it.
I think I would enjoy it for 3 hours. And then I would be like, I need out of this. That was fun. I want my thoughts back. I want the reins of my brain again. Why am I not allowed to guide my life? What is happening?
Right.
I have no control.
So maybe I don't have enough experience to talk about the subtleties and the differences, but I remember being really surprised at how much my mind functioned properly while on acid versus mushrooms. Mushrooms is where the mind goes astray on you, whereas acid didn't feel as much of a mind fuck.
I see.
I don't know. Maybe that's incorrect, and maybe that was just one time or something because I've only obviously done it once. So I don't know. Whatever.
Well, we've got a couple lines in the river right now, and I want to make sure we resolve a few of these things. And one thing, let's focus on the weed issue, because this is a really big undertaking for me, because I love weed.
I mean, dude, even tonight, like once, the meat is fucking cut and the drinks are flowing, is it going to be hard for you to not spark one up?
I think that given that I'm on day 6, maybe I've turned the corner a little. I'm hoping that maybe the urges are diminishing.
Yeah.
Last night was hard.
Yeah.
Last night was really hard, and I'll tell you why. My girlfriend went out to dinner with one of her friends. So I had the house to myself with Kojai. I ordered 2 pastas and a pizza delivered. And I found the Son of Sam documentary on Netflix.
Awesome.
And it was as if the stars were aligning for me to smoke a quarter of a joint and have the greatest night
bongs away
of my life. Bongs away. I had worked my ass off Thursday. I had so much work. We did alternate side parking. Shout out Chris for his incredible editing. I had done all kinds of stuff with the Patreon. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/FrancisL. Subscribe. We love you. Giulio's on there. Abba's a subscriber. Everyone's supporting. We love you guys. So I had done all this work. I was worn out, and I just wanted, plus I had not slept well the night before. And I knew that I just wanted to get to sleep at a decent hour, sleep through the night, and that a little, by the way, vaporizer, right? That's the thing I've been doing. I'm not bonging it up.
Oh, wait. So you have still been smoking the vaporizer?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I have not touched weed in any form in 6 days.
Great.
And
they say the first 48, it's like the same as a kidnapping situation. Like if you get past the first 48, you will lose the craving the same way you would have lost the child.
Okay, so I had no problem the first 2 days.
Interesting.
Day 3, I got super drunk. So I didn't know, I had no idea what the difference was.
Was that a direct result?
No. I played in a golf tournament with my friend, and we had like 14.
Have you been eating more? Has there been some kind of side effect of you not smoking? Nothing really, besides the sleep.
Besides the sleep, no.
Okay.
And I credit myself for as often and as frequently as I did use marijuana. I still think there was an element of moderation with which I used it, because I have not experienced withdrawal symptoms in terms of like nausea or feeling hot and cold, any of the crazy stuff that I've heard people go through. The only thing that has happened is that I've been waking up at 4 a.m. every single night as usual. And sometimes waking up at 2:30,
right,
2:50, 3:30. And then 4, and then at 4, I can't go back to sleep, so I just get out of bed.
Interesting.
And that happened 2 nights in a row.
Dude, tell me how you feel about this. Sometimes I find that when I cannot fall asleep, even if I don't sleep that much, I wake up feeling like I slept enough.
So my issue is not falling asleep.
It's staying asleep.
It's staying asleep.
Okay.
I fall asleep, no problem. 11 o'clock, and I'm out.
And then you wake up.
For 4 or 5 hours, 4 hours, and then I wake up, and there's no chance I'm going to keep sleeping.
Like a kitten.
Yeah. So all of this is to say, I spoke to my therapist, who specializes in addiction therapy.
Interesting.
And she's a psychiatrist as well as a psychologist. So she's got her MD.
Okay.
And has counseled many people off of drugs, off addiction, off alcohol, has counseled people off of habitual marijuana use. And I so wanted her to champion this endeavor for me, to tell me it's a really good idea, to tell me, yes, I think the fact that you smoke weed almost every night of the week, if not every night of the week, is too much, and that you should really see what it's like and make sure you're not totally dependent on all of that. I told her I was doing this, and she was like, okay, I mean, that sounds like a good experiment. And I was like, well, do you think that if I do this at any point I can come back to it? And she was like, yeah, I really don't think you have a problem. And I was like, you should tell me I have somewhat of a problem. She was like, no, I mean, what you should do is you should go a whole month without it, because that's how long it will take for you to be able to compare what your life is like without weed and with weed. And then you can make the decision. So, meaning it's going to take me a full month until I'm in a point where I can say like, oh, this is how my brain works, clear-headed. This is how I sleep. I'll develop habits away from marijuana use. And then I'll be able to say like, do I like this better? Or, you know, can I go back to weed? And dude, again, I think the fact that I only ever smoked at night right before bed, most of the time with a vaporizer, I'm smoking, you know, it would take me a month or two to go through an eighth of weed.
That's
just not that
Really?
much. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I don't smoke joints that often or bowls. And when you burn it like that, the vaporizer,
Yeah.
that's my night. And I'm smoking a tiny little nuggy poo.
Well, dude, do you know, I know you've talked about this on the pod. Well, Nuggy Poo was not lost on me. Don't worry. I did enjoy
It's a
that.
good one.
Nuggy Poo is nice. Do you think you've talked about on the pod how you'll have like, you know, spurts of kind of like feeling down, whatever. Do you think that there's a chance that by cutting pot out of your regimen, maybe that will become something that happens less often?
Unfortunately, I have definitely had some pretty, well, this is interesting. I mean, one of the reasons that I decided to stop was because last weekend I had a pretty down day.
Mm-hmm.
And my girlfriend was like, this is not tenable.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't to say that she wasn't supportive, but she just like, I don't even realize how dramatic some of the things that I'm saying to her when I'm really spiraling sound, because I've lived with these thoughts for so long that they don't scare me as much.
Right.
But when I voice them to somebody who does not have that much familiarity with them,
They're like, this is bad.
she is like, the fact that you're saying this to me, everything I've read tells me that this is a warning sign and that I now have to be proactive. So she starts wondering if she's supposed to like call my family, call my therapist, all this shit.
Is there an example of something that you might say?
Yeah,
or-
well, this was, I mean, I went and played golf on Saturday, and I don't really know what happened. I guess I just played badly, and halfway through I realized I wasn't having fun. And then I started thinking about how expensive golf is and how I don't have as much financial certainty right now as I did a few weeks ago when I was employed by Bro Bible. And that started kicking me down this rabbit hole of, will I the same shit we've always talked about, like, will I ever find financial footing again?
Right.
What is my financial future? Will I get to a point where I can, afford and provide the lifestyle for my family, my wife, my kids, all this that I hope to have? And have I made a mistake all these years being a comedian? How long will I have to deal with not knowing where my next job or big bump or big paycheck is going to come from? And by the way, we've had this conversation and you said to me, you've been doing this long enough now that you should have faith in the fact that we can make it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. There's enough going on. And even though it's kind of abstract, the next thing is coming, and it always does.
Yeah.
And has. And you can say that once you have survived doing this long enough and you look back on the trajectory of your own survival, and the survival becomes more and more certain as time goes on,
I guess that's true.
But for me, what you're saying, those are exclusively high thoughts for me. And what happens is sometimes those high thoughts carry over for me. So like I'll have that thought, and even then the next day I'm like, man, I was high. The residual effect of the thought is still sort of lingering in my brain, and it can get to the point where I can't sort of like, can't lose the thought anymore.
Well, I think that if there were that direct of a correlation between marijuana and those thoughts, I would never smoke weed.
Right. And this is, and that's why I was making it clear that this is something that specifically happens to me.
No, but my point being, I'm surprised that you do. That sounds like a nightmare.
It sucks. Yeah. And I've been smoking a little bit lately, and sometimes it's fine, but other times, dude, I just become so unbelievably cynical. I'll be watching TV and I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, these people are acting. They're such frauds. Why do I even want to try to act? There's nothing interesting about acting. Scripted is a thing of the past. People want to see truth. They want to see reality. What do you have to offer? You have nothing to offer.
You sound like Holden Caulfield.
Yeah, no, dude, it becomes this crazy thing. And then I start thinking like, oh, like your commercial's running, but those residuals are going to stop. What are you going to do? Like, well, hopefully, you know what I mean? It's that kind of shit. So I don't know. But dude, I think it's a great experiment. I commend you for it. It's something that you don't necessarily need to do, but something worth attempting in sort of the quest for a happier and healthier existence, because why not? Right?
That's it. I think also just testing yourself in so many different ways is always a wonderful thing to try, whether it's, losing a ton of weight or trying to put on 20 pounds of muscle or run a marathon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Memorize a poem, whatever the fuck, learn a different language, expand yourself in a way and see how, if you can get there.
Yeah.
Learn an instrument. We've always talked about
a long-term goal sort of thing.
But let me finish what I was saying, which was that leaving the golf course, right? I got in my car. At this point, I had gone from having a nice day playing golf to being utterly disconsolate. And I'm driving home, and I called my girlfriend, and I start voicing these thoughts to her. And I think I said something to her like, I don't see the point anymore. I really just want to end all of this. And I was referring to my comedy career.
Mm-hmm.
And I was being like, I don't understand why I've made life so hard for myself by choosing this profession that is just, it seems impossible. I don't understand how to succeed in it. But I didn't clarify that. And I spoke in broad strokes, which she took as allusions to ending my life in the car. So she thinks I'm going to drive the car off the fucking road. And she starts
where are you?
freaking
Pull over
out.
right now.
And I don't even know how the conversation ended, but it really upset her for a day and a half. And when I got home, I said hi to her, and I immediately went and lit a joint and took a couple puffs from it. And it was a Saturday, and I was like, I figured that was fine. And she was so put off by it because she just said, you're doing this to escape your life, to not face the issues head on, to kind of take yourself out of facing them. And she also took it as sort of a shot at her, meaning like, I can't hang out with her if I'm not high or, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a long, difficult back and forth about it. I saw how much it upset her. And that was when I resolved to try to quit cold turkey. And I went 4 days. I didn't even tell her that I was planning to do this. But being the praise whore that I am, on day 4, I was like, have you noticed that I have quit marijuana as of 4 days ago? As if I built up some body of work that was, she could step back and be like, oh my God, what a span you've linked together. 4 days. So she's definitely behind me on it. I got to get to a month. That's my thought.
Well, dude, bravo.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I think your experiment in going multiple months without drinking is a really good sort of self-evaluation. It's a check-in with yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And dude, it's funny. I had a couple moments that were kind of funny about that. So first of all, let me backtrack by saying that weighing yourself at the doctor's office, this is sort of like a veering off in a bit, but you'll see why it ties in, I guess, eventually. Weighing yourself at the doctor's office is like a sadistic move.
Well, they don't let you get totally naked.
Yeah, you're just wearing, your volume has increased by an amount that does not reflect your accurate weight.
Really wish I hadn't worn these cargo pants full of pennies.
Dude. And
Why did I think I should go to the bank after this?
Dude, then they start talking to you about your like body, your BMI and shit. You're like, dude, I was wearing shoes when I fucking weighed my.
Yeah.
So, dude, it's gotten to the point where when I go to the doctor's office, I tell them my weight. I weighed myself this morning and tell them what it is because I'm not willing to put myself through that. But it's so I had gone a little bit where I hadn't weighed myself, but I had been like being healthy and stuff, and I could feel that like, you know, I'm in a better place than I was, you know, say when I got back from Alaska specifically. It was a time where it was like I had gotten out of control. But I weighed myself with my scale that I have at my house, which is, it's old and it's like whatever. And I stepped on it and it said a number that was like back, like completely reset to the beginning.
Oh no.
And I was so fucking devastated, but then went to the gym and weighed myself and I wasn't.
Yeah. Listen.
Having a bum scale.
Hold on a second. There's also, you're supposed to weigh yourself first thing in the morning after you've gone to the bathroom.
Yeah. And that's what I do.
Okay.
And that's what I did here. But the scale is old and it was literally incorrect because I weighed myself an hour later at the gym and it reflected my accurate weight.
Okay.
And it was like a 15-pound difference.
Oh my God.
Dude, the other scale is wrong. It's completely wrong.
Okay.
It's 5 years old or something.
Well,
I don't know. Whatever.
Let me also add that the whole body mass index thing to me is utter nonsense. By the definitions that the medical whatever journals give, I am bordering on obese. Seriously, based on my height and weight. Yeah.
How
I'm
much
close.
do you weigh?
I weigh about 207.
Mm-hmm.
But I have
6'3"?
I'm 6'3", 207, but I have like a 6% body fat.
Right.
There's no chance
Right.
that I'm fucking obese.
Right.
It's just the way that these definitions of body mass index
Very
are
broad.
It's
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
Totally. And I don't mean to like say that as a brag. I say that to anyone out there who's worried about the word obese. We hear obese.
Abba's nodding his head.
We think of like those people on that show who get forklifted into their ground floor apartment through the window, and we're like, am I one of those? Am I on my way? And you're not, you know. I don't know. I hate to speak too much on weight issues because I feel like I realize people have a lot of struggle with that. I have to say, shout out to Chris. I mean, we give him the nod a lot. Dude, you look great, man.
Thanks. I just wanted to give you guys a tip that I learned is that the scale is scary, and weighing yourself every single day at the same exact time gets rid of that. You don't get scared to weigh yourself because you weigh yourself every day. And that's something that I do now, and it's very helpful. So that's a little tip that I wanted to
Chris,
share.
would you be willing to share with us how much weight you've lost?
I've lost a good amount since like, I don't know.
Since your all-time high.
Oh, the highest?
Well, let's say once you decided this time to start losing weight.
I've lost like 50 pounds.
50 pounds.
It's a lot.
But like,
50 pounds.
I got a long way to go. So I don't really tell people, but you know, you guys are special. Right?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
I got a long way to go.
Unbelievable applause for Chris. We are very proud of you. And you know, I got to tell you something. This is going to sound, maybe this is going to sound bad. I see you when you come in. I'm more attracted to you. I find you. I'm like, this hot guy is here. This hot guy is here.
Thanks, man.
Which isn't to say that you weren't handsome before.
I mean, I
Everyone's
definitely
beautiful.
wasn't.
You know, that whatever song by.
You are beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
50 pounds.
I was saying the golden number is 50. But like you said, you need to, I guess you're keeping going. So keep doing what you got to do.
Long way to go.
Love it.
Okay. So anyway, G, what do you got?
I have a therapy question for you.
Please.
I was talking to people about when I used to be in therapy. I liked my therapist a lot. I thought he was great. But like occasionally we would have these like sort of weird conversations, and I'm thinking back now and thinking that maybe it was a little weird. I don't know if it was like a stylistic thing, but he would say stuff to me like this. He'd be like, I'd be like, yeah, I'm thinking about my ex or something. And he would say stuff like this sometimes. You thinking about your ex? What are you thinking about? Do you think about fucking her? I was like, what?
First of all,
do you think about fucking her? Like, do you like that? And I was just be like,
he
Jesus.
was British,
Yeah.
and he used the F word.
And maybe I had said it first or something, and then like I don't know. And then I never felt like it was weird. I really liked him. I went to see him for years, many years. But yeah, occasionally there would be these like intense therapy moments where like things like that would happen. And like, does that ring a bell for you?
No. Fortunately, I would be put off by that.
Yeah, right?
Because that sounds like,
like,
he's saving stuff for his spank bank later. Do you know what I mean? That sounds like he's sitting
can
there
come off that way,
trying
right?
to get details for himself. My therapist, I don't really talk much to her about sex, truth be told. I don't know why. We don't really talk about that much. And I would feel a little odd talking to her about it, which is so strange because it's supposed to be a totally, open book kind of situation. But that doesn't seem to come up all that often.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's pretty weird. Well, all right, dude. So I'm gonna talk about meat smoking in a second.
Oh, good. Yeah, boy, we got so many threads in the water.
So first of all, I come in here, I walk in here today, and Francis has like 4 fucking human bodies of meat draped over his shoulders, and he's wearing nothing but fucking key lime colored bird dogs.
That's it, baby.
And I was like, what better outfit? It's almost the uniform for meat smoking.
It kind of is. It kind of is. I gotta say, I've taken a shine to this meat smoking thing. I said that earlier. It is something that was so scary to me. You know who became my Jedi master?
Who?
Armand.
Ah, interesting.
Remember Armand?
Our old pal.
The guy that you asked me, is there a guy that you want to be better friends with?
Yes.
And I said his name, and you were like, you totally misunderstood this question.
You know what's funny about Armand, dude, is that when I picture Armand, I see Bill's face. Does that ever happen to you with people? Where like you try to picture them in your brain, but you see another person?
No.
Like I can't picture what Armand looks like because I can only see Bill.
That sounds like an acid issue.
No, definitely not.
It's like one of those residual trip problems. You got your wires crossed. No, but I hear you. But Armand is a masterful smoker himself, and I think his dad was a barbecue guy, and so he has led me through a number of these early days of learning it. So we're doing baby back ribs tonight.
Fire. And
I'm smoking them as we speak, low and slow. That's what they say, low and slow. And boy, I had this big green egg for all these years, but I was always too afraid of it because it seemed like smoking was this elaborate process. One of the problems was the first thing I tried smoking was a brisket. And I had Nick Mangold, who used to be the center for the Jets, advise me on how to do this. And Nick gave me kind of the most complicated process he could. I followed it to a T. The brisket was like mediocre. And I was like, all right, this is over my head. Forget it. I'm done. I can't do this. Whereas if you have no offense to Nick, if you have a better teacher who treats you like you're stupid. By the way, that is one of the most important things in a good teacher.
Treating you like you're stupid.
People should explain things like you're dumb, like you've just learned how to speak. Dude, someone was explaining cryptocurrency to me the other night, and it was the first time where I felt like I actually understood a little bit about the blockchain, the metaverse, all these fucking crazy things. And the reason was he spoke to me as if I were a kindergartner. And, I get that women don't like to be mansplained to. Mansplain to me. Mansplain everything to me. Speak to me as though I'm coming back from a horrific brain injury and I need to learn how to bring the spoon of pea mush to my brain again. That's what I want. Do that version, but with whatever, cryptocurrency, smoking meats, anything. I don't care.
Well, what about bird dog shorts?
Bird dog shorts.
Can you mansplain bird dog shorts to me?
Well, Giulio, look, the thing is, I understand why you're not getting bird dogs. And you know, if I had spent my life like you know, doing what you do,
I might have slipped to your.
I wouldn't understand the novelty of bird dog shorts either. I don't know how to mansplain. This feels like it's just mean.
Mansplain
Is
bird dogs to me,
mansplaining
bro.
mean?
Mansplain doesn't have to be mean.
What is mansplaining? It's patronizing.
Mansplaining is assuming that someone needs to have something explained to them that they might not have to have explained to them.
Okay. So the thing about bird dogs that makes them so special is that they have this underwear liner.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you know how that, you know, okay, so I realize you're not getting this. So you know how you put your underwear on
Yes.
and then you put like your shorts or your pants on over that?
Mhm.
So what bird dogs did was they were like, we want to make it simpler for people like Giulio. And they attached the underwear to the shorts, to the pants they make. And basically they let you just put on one thing instead of two.
Oh wow, how convenient.
It is really, that's exactly,
Where so
you
Francis,
hit the nail on the head,
where can
Giulio.
I get these bird dogs?
Well, you can get them right on birddogs.com. Use promo code OOPS right now and you'll get a gift with your first purchase.
Wow, really?
You will. Do you know what birddogs.com? It's a website.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
So you'd have to like probably log into a Wi-Fi network or maybe use your data from your phone. Do you know about that?
Dude, imagine if I didn't. Imagine if like the world is so complicated for a person who isn't used to it. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. Oh Jesus.
Yes.
Birddogs.com. Promo
code OOPS. We don't even know what the gift is. It'll surprise you. We're not trying to be coy here.
We actually don't
We
know.
love bird dogs. Guys, seriously though, it is the short of the summer. And I'm
Yeah.
smoking meats and I'm wearing them right now. Get some
Got a
bird
cop.
dogs.
Got a cop.
Hell yeah.
Well, dude, I want to talk more about meat, but first, I noticed when I came in, there were fresh flowers on the table, which was really nice. Your girlfriend was really appreciative of it.
Yes.
I was impressed. And it reminded me of something, and that is that sending flowers to me is stressful because you don't like if you don't do it from say you're sending it to a family member of your girlfriend in another place where you're not from. And you need to find a flower delivery place and you send
Yes.
flowers. It can be stressful because sometimes that like you don't know if they're going to include embarrassing shit in it or something.
I see. Well, you don't trust the flower shop, the local flower shop, to not write what you want them to write?
No, I do. But like, say that you use a website or say that you flowers.com or something. Like, I would be afraid that there was going to be some big flowers.com sign and that would be embarrassing.
I see.
And that happened to me. I sent flowers to one of my old girlfriend's moms and with flowers.com. And apparently, like, it was very obvious that it was from flowers.com because she said something like, thank you for sending those sweet flowers from flowers.com.
She started
She like
laughing
made
at
fun
you.
of me. And then my girlfriend also started making fun of me.
Well, God help us if flowers.com ever wants to advertise on the podcast. But yeah, it does seem like you went the route of least resistance. You just typed in, I bet you didn't even know, you just tried flowers.com and it turned out that they did delivery flowers.
I think I literally was like, deliver flowers to wherever they were. And that's what popped up.
Yeah.
But the move is, like you said, you've got to find the local flower delivery place.
You know what I like to do, Giulio?
What do you like to do?
I like to go to a local flower place and then find one that has a high rating on Google or Yelp or whatever. And then I go on their website and it does not matter what the occasion is that I am buying those flowers for. I love going to the grief flowers.
Why?
To me, they're always the most beautiful.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I just feel like
But then are you not afraid that you're going to have like a little thing stuck into there that says sorry or like starts including shit like that?
yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. I just find that the grief arrangements are the ones that the flower stores put the most love into. Because with a birthday or Mother's Day, it's like you could just put anything
Tacking
in there.
on to an already happy occasion.
Grief is always understated. It's gentle color patterns. It's probably not overly fragrant. It's not flowers that you're going to get allergic to, because the last thing you want when you're weeping is to have an allergy attack. On top of that, so yeah, I love the grief, section of local flower shops.
Flower hack.
Yeah,
love it, dude.
Okay, I got one more thing I want to tell you.
Please.
So, I was city biking through the city the other day,
which you love to do.
I do love to. And I was in the middle of the road or something, but there was kind of construction in one of the two lanes, so I had to be on the left. And a car behind me pulled past me and turned, and as they passed me, a woman yelled, "Stay in your lane," or something. "Stay in your lane." But I couldn't stay in my lane.
There was only one lane.
In order to stay in my lane, I would have driven through a manhole or an uncovered section of pavement with men inside wearing hard hats, fixing irrigation or God knows what. So I had one way to go, and she flipped out at me and said that. And I don't know why, I just decided to see if I could chase her down.
What?
And I did.
Yeah.
I stood up. I Peloton a lot. And I could just hear Alex Toussaint in my brain going, "Out of the saddle in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, you feeling it." And I'm out of the saddle on this city bike at the highest resistance, and I am flying after this car. And I know exactly what they look like. I see them stop at a stoplight. You're in New York City. Like, they can only go so far.
Right.
Unless somehow magically all of the stoplights open for them at the right time, I'm going to catch a car on a city bike because I can violate traffic lights. Right. So I caught them. And I pulled up right alongside. Like, I'm talking 3 feet from their car window. And they had their windows down and they're talking, and it was a woman and a man, I think. And the man was in the passenger seat and she was driving. And I said, "Hey." And she looks over and she goes, and I go, "What did you say to me?" And she goes, "I told you to stay in your lane." And I don't know why. I just went, "Oh, okay." And then she was like, "Yeah, because I didn't want to get in trouble for swerving around you." And I was like, "No problem." And then I just turned around and biked away.
What? Somehow that works for me. Like, I understand.
It worked for me.
This is like when I followed the woman when she told me to fuck myself during the height of the pandemic. Remember that story?
No, refresh me.
I was in the grocery store and some lady was like 6 feet apart and I was standing on the X and I was like, "I'm standing on the X." And then she said, "Fuck you." And then I followed her home. And then I actually got like some hate DMs for that. People were like, "Dude, that was fucked up that you did that."
What did you do when you followed her home?
I just like made sure to speed up and just follow her. And then I didn't follow her for that long.
Just made her a little uneasy.
Yes, the way that you made this person a little uneasy.
The problem is that sounds like stalking. I'm sure it happened in the middle of the day.
It did.
Yeah, so stalking can only happen at night.
Dude, it's fine. I'm glad. Dude, good for you. Good for it. No, but if it's dude, the ambiguity is on your side during the day. That is true. If you're gonna stalk,
yeah, what the hell is she gonna? I mean, she can't say someone's stalking me. Well, what do you mean? How do you know? Well, I can see him in broad daylight. Well, why don't you just turn to any one of the 400 people around you and be like, "Hey, this guy's bothering me," and everyone will jump in.
That's true.
No, but my thing, right? I don't know what I wanted. I just wanted to to show her that I had caught up and that she had to face me.
Right.
And
she backed down.
And that I wasn't a bad guy. And that somehow maybe plant some seed of guilt in her for being such a bitch.
I had a murder fantasy when you told this story. A murder fantasy of like her being like, stay in your lane. And she's like far enough away when she says that you would have to have a really good shot to hit her. And then you pull out a pistol.
Yeah.
And then you just go, pew, and then all of a sudden, like there's a moment of the bullet traveling, and then all of a sudden you just see her go.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't even hear it because it's so far away, but you just sort of see the red mist. Yes, and then the brain matter against the back window.
Exactly. It's so satisfying.
Yeah, that is nice. I've always wanted that, but I didn't think that with this woman.
But don't kill. Yeah, but
I don't have murder fantasies with people so much, but when I see seagulls at the beach, I sort of trace them with a gun, and then I lead them by like an inch or so and go, and then I imagine them just sort of flopping down to the earth. Like a deflated
coasting
balloon.
Down.
Yeah, but dude, I'm telling you, I don't know if this woman thought about it, but I just hope that, because she struck me as somebody who yells at people on the street all the time for not abiding by her perfect rules of driving or biking or whatever.
Which, by the way, you had no choice. So it's her not even knowing what the fuck she's talking about.
Exactly. I wasn't holding her up. I don't even think I wasn't doing anything wrong. And she screamed at me. And then I wanted to set her right. But I did it in the most like bizarre, confusing. I wanted to confuse her. I think that's what I wanted. I wanted to confuse her.
I mean, dude, bikers in New York City are just unbelievably confrontational. And I guess you guys have to be. Because otherwise,
don't lump me in with
people
them.
try to trample on your rights.
You're talking bikers in New York City. I think of like bike messengers and then dudes who, for whatever fucking reason, decide to throw on their bike shorts, their Oakley sunglasses, a helmet, and hit their 10 speed and drive, ride their bikes up to Nyack, 48-mile round trip.
But dude, the amount of times I hear, get out of the bike lane. I hear that happen. And dude, you deserve to be lumped in, bro. You followed a lady.
You live in the wrong place if you are one of those bikers. I deserve it.
Yes, you caught up with somebody. She did deserve it, but you'd also deserve to be lumped in with the confrontational bike people.
I'm picturing spandex on that guy. I had a fucking golf shirt on or something. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm a biker now. Yeah.
You're just a very sneakily confrontational guy, dude.
Yeah, I find myself in pickles. Get my hand in the old honey jar every once in a while. And then it's then we all come to blows. I almost came to blows in the in alternate side parking Thursday last week.
You did?
The guy in the yellow shirt. I swear I was so sure he was going to punch me in the face. And even in that moment, I was like the Joker in The Dark Knight. I was like, oh, do it. I want you to do it. I want you to do it. I just wanted him to punch me. I knew people would sign up for the Patreon if he punched me in the face. And he didn't, because he got out of the car as though he was going to punch me in the face. And then it's just like as soon as he got to the sidewalk, he was like, this guy's way bigger than me. Because he gets out of his car door aggressively and he goes, listen, buddy. And then in the next words out of his mouth were, I don't even want to argue about this. And you could just see the switch.
How quickly he realized he was outmatched.
Why do I do so much weightlifting?
7% body fat.
This guy's not going to attack me.
How do you know your body fat percentage? Do you get measured with the things?
You know how I know? I know? Because every time you join a gym, they try to foist personal training sessions on you.
Yeah.
And the first one's free.
And they assess
And then that first one, they assess you and they do your body fat.
Got it.
And then I never do the sessions.
Got it.
But I get all those numbers. That's
awesome,
it.
Dude.
That's Oops the Podcast. Gonna go smoke some meats. You guys are the best. Thanks for listening. We love you. Any thoughts, emails, oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Follow him, not Julio with a J. I'm Francis C.C. Ellis. We will see you next week, guys. We love you. Bye.